Saitama stands at the end of a battle. His arm is still slightly extended, fingers loose, as if his body hasn't bothered to reset yet. His expression doesn't change. The wind shifts, dust settles. Then a sound cuts through the stillness, snorting. Saitama blinks once and looks down. In the middle of the rubble, surrounded by concrete and metal, is a pig. Pink. Ordinary. Completely unharmed. It is calmly chewing on something that used to be a mailbox, its jaw moving with slow, determined movement. It doesn't panic. It doesn't flee. It doesn't even seem aware that it is standing where a monster just died. Saitama doesn't move. He just looks at it. The pig looks back. For a moment, nothing happens. Just two figures sharing the space left behind by destruction. One capable of ending worlds, the other concerned only with eating. Saitama lifts his head and scans the area again, slower this time. He checks rooftops, alleyways, the broken line of the street stretching away from the blast zone. No civilians hiding. No fellow heroes arriving late. No monster remains to confirm the fight ever happened. The destruction is complete, and the silence that follows it feels settled. Final. Everything is accounted for. Everything except the pig. It stands where it was, still chewing, still unbothered. Saitama waits a moment longer, as if expecting reality to correct itself. It doesn't. So he turns and starts walking away, already shifting his thoughts toward dinner and whether the supermarket is still open. Behind him, nothing happens at first. Then, after a few steps, there's movement. Slow, unhurried. The sound of hooves against broken pavement. Saitama doesn't turn around yet, but he knows. The pig is walking too. Not rushing. Not excited. Just moving in the same direction. As if this is simply where it was headed anyway. Saitama increases his pace. The distance between them stays exactly the same. He slows down. The sound stays with him. He stops completely. The pig bumps into the back of his leg and snorts. Another pause. The kind that stretches just long enough to be annoying. Saitama looks down at it. His expression doesn't change, but his shoulders drop slightly. He exhales, slow and tired, not because he's confused, but because this has already become inconvenient. "Don't follow me," he says. The pig stares at him for a second, then steps around his leg and continues walking forward. Saitama watches it pass, then turns and follows after it, not bothering to argue. Saitama stops walking and stands there for a moment, letting the situation settle. The street is quiet now, the damage already cordoned off in his mind as someone else's problem. He looks down at the pig again, as if seeing it properly for the first time. It doesn't look injured. It doesn't look lost. It just exists, solid and persistent, right in front of him. He runs through the options without ceremony. Leaving it here would mean it wanders off sooner or later, probably into another evacuated zone. Another monster attack. Another mess he doesn't feel like dealing with twice. Calling animal control would mean explanations, forms, and waiting around for people who would ask questions he doesn't want to answer. Reporting it to the Hero Association would turn this into a situation. Meetings, classifications, follow-ups, none of that appeals to him. He exhales through his nose and looks back down. The pig snorts, as if reminding him it's still there. Taking it home isn't a good option. It isn't even a reasonable one. It's just the one that requires the least effort right now. And that's enough. So he turns toward the direction of his apartment and starts walking again. This time, he doesn't try to shake the pig off. It falls beside him without comment, its hooves clicking softly against the pavement. There's no internal monologue. Just Saitama, a plastic grocery bag swinging in one hand, and a pig trotting alongside him through streets that are already forgetting the monster that once stood there. "Just until I figure something out," he mutters. The pig doesn't respond. The moment they step inside, the pig behaves as if it has always lived there. It doesn't hesitate at the doorway or sniff around cautiously. It walks in, turns once, and claims the space without ceremony. The apartment is small, plain, and mostly empty, but to the pig it is immediately sufficient. Saitama sets the grocery bag down and turns his back for a second. When he looks again, The bag is overturned. Noodles spill across the floor. Plastic wrappers are torn open with surprising efficiency. Discount meat is gone before he can react. In minutes, a week's worth of careful budgeting disappears into loud, satisfied chewing. He watches, expression unchanged. The pig moves on once the food is gone. It bumps into the table, sending it scraping across the floor. A chair tips over. Something breaks. The pig doesn't notice. It wanders freely, heavy and unconcerned, like an unstoppable force operating on instincts too simple to negotiate with. When it finally gets tired, it sleeps. Not in a corner, not out of the way. It collapses wherever it happens to be. On the futon, stretched across Saitama's cape, once directly on his face while he's lying down. He wakes up staring at a pink snout inches from his eyes. Saitama tries pushing it away, tries nudging it with his foot, tries opening the door and pointing outside. The pig ignores all of it. Eventually, Saitama gives up and opens the fridge. He stares into it for a long moment. Empty shelves. A single bottle of sauce pushed to the back. Nothing else. For the first time in a long while, he feels a kind of defeat that punching can't solve. Monsters are cheaper, he says flatly. Genos arrives at the apartment at his usual time. The hallway is quiet. He stands straight, posture perfect, ready for instruction. He raises his hand and opens the door without knocking. Then he stops. Inside the apartment are only two things of note. Saitama, sitting where he always sits, looking exactly as he always looks. And a pig, standing in the middle of the room, surrounded by overturned furniture and torn packaging. His eyes adjust. His internal systems begin running calculations. This is not part of any known training regimen. Sensei, he says carefully, is this creature related to the monster you defeated earlier today? Saitama glances at the pig. It was there after. That answer is not sufficient. Genos kneels slightly and activates his scanners. Data streams across his vision. Power output, negligible. Energy signature, none. Physical structure, unremarkable. There are no mutations, no concealed cores, no signs of adaptive evolution. The readings make no sense in context. Genos straightens, unsettled. It survived ground zero of your punch, he says, choosing his words slowly. That is statistically impossible. The pig snorts and lowers its head. It begins chewing on something metallic. Genos turns just in time to see it gnawing on his spare arm, resting against the wall. The metal casing dents slightly. Genos gasps. Sensei, your pet is consuming my spare arm. Saitama sighs, rubbing his temple. Yeah, don't let it do that. The cyborg immediately moves to intervene, nodding with absolute seriousness. In his mind, the lesson is already forming. Saitama goes out to train the next day. There is no announcement, no preparation. He puts on his gloves, steps outside, and starts moving. The pig follows him without hesitation, trotting along a step behind, as if this has already become routine. They reach a combat zone marked by half-standing buildings and warning tape fluttering in the wind. A monster is already there, roaring loudly, making sure to be seen. Saitama barely notices it. His attention drifts instead to the sound of hooves scraping over broken pavement behind him. The pig wanders forward. It crosses into the open space between Saitama and the monster. It sniffs at the ground. It squeals once, unimpressed. The monster falters, its roar cutting off mid-breath. Other heroes nearby freeze. That thing's with Saitama, someone mutters. Is it safe to attack? Saitama moves without ceremony. He grabs the pig by the scruff, pulls it out of the way, and throws a punch in the same motion. The monster disappears. No build-up, no aftermath. Just empty air where it stood. This happens again, and again. Every fight is interrupted. Every moment of tension collapses under the pig's quiet indifference. Saitama ends each battle instantly, but his posture changes. His shoulders slump. His steps grow heavier. Not because the fights are difficult, because they're inconvenient. By the time the area is cleared, Saitama looks more tired than usual. He exhales, glancing down at the pig as it wanders back to his side. Training, it turns out, is easy. Babysitting is not. The first report is vague. A passing note buried among damage assessments and casualty estimates. Unknown creature observed near Saitama. It doesn't raise alarms at first. Too many strange things follow Saitama around to take every mention seriously. Then another report arrives. And another. Survived catastrophic impact zone. Present at multiple combat sites. Remains unharmed. Patterns form. Analysts slow down. Someone pulls archived footage. Someone else starts a thread marked priority. A meeting is called that was not on the schedule an hour ago. The room fills with speculation. If the creature survived ground zero of Saitama's punch, then it cannot be ordinary. If it shows no readings, then it must be concealing something. If it follows Saitama willingly, then the relationship must be intentional. One analyst suggests it could be a limiter. Another proposes it's a biological anchor. A third argues it's a test, placed there deliberately, though by whom remains unclear. Voices overlap, diagrams appear. Threat levels are debated without consensus. Eventually, a decision is made. Surveillance drones are dispatched, quietly, at a distance. No engagement, no interference. Whatever the creature is, it is not to be provoked. The official classification is entered into the system. Unidentified entity. Observe only. A live feed flickers on. The camera zooms in, adjusting focus. The pig is lying on its side in the sun. Its legs twitch once. It snores, loud and steady, completely unaware that it is now the subject of national concern. The alert comes in from another district. A monster sighted. Large, loud, confident enough to announce itself. Buildings already damaged. Evacuation underway. The kind of situation Saitama normally resolves before the warning finishes broadcasting. This time, he doesn't move right away. The pig is missing. Saitama stands in the street, scanning left, then right, irritation creeping in, not as panic, but as delay. He checks behind a vending machine, under a truck, down an alley. The monster's roars echo in the distance, growing louder by the minute. "Where did you go?" he mutters, more annoyed than worried. Across the district, the monster advances without resistance. Heroes hesitate, civilians scatter. It enjoys the space it's given, stepping through the street like it owns it. No one engages. Everyone is waiting. Then the monster takes a step backward. Its heel catches on something low and solid. Something that shouldn't be there. The pig. There's a surprised squeal. The monster's balance shifts. It flails, arms windmilling, dignity gone in an instant. It crashes into the pavement with a sound louder than its roar. A second later, Saitama arrives. He takes in the scene in one glance. The fallen monster. The pig scrambling to its feet. The stunned onlookers. He exhales through his nose, irritated at the timing. "1 second," he says, grabbing the pig and moving it aside. Then he punches. The fight ends the way it always does. Later, witnesses argue over what they saw. Some insist the pig was positioned deliberately. Others claim it was part of Saitama's strategy, a distraction or a trap. The reports grow more elaborate with each retelling. The pig, uninterested in its rising legend, resumes walking. Morning light filters in through the thin curtains. The city sounds are distant and ordinary. Traffic, footsteps, life continuing exactly as it always does. Saitama wakes up on his futon and stares at the ceiling for a moment, letting the day register. Something is missing. He sits up. The room is quiet. Too quiet. No snorting. No heavy breathing. No sudden weight pressing down where it shouldn't be. He looks around. No pig. The apartment looks different. Cleaner. The table is upright. The chair isn't overturned. Nothing is chewed, dented, or broken. The air feels lighter, emptier, as if the space has returned to its original shape. Saitama stands and walks to the kitchen. He opens the fridge. It's full. Groceries neatly stacked. Noodles untouched. Meat still sealed. Everything exactly where it should be. He closes the door slowly and stands there, staring at it longer than necessary. Less trouble, he says. He opens the fridge again, glances inside, then closes it once more. This time, he doesn't say anything. He just stands there for a second, hands resting at his sides, expression unreadable. Then he turns away.